Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Holy cow, Pepe is taking off, absolutely broke through its all-time high. This is exciting stuff. So we're going to talk a little bit about best practice in situations like these. Truth is, no one knows how high it's going to go. If they say they think they know, they're wrong. You can purely speculate based on fib extensions, but truth is that doesn't really do us a lot of good when the price is running like this. The chances of the price retesting its local high or previous high, all-time high rather, is fairly high, but you don't want to consider shorting into that either. So with this amount of volume, obviously not a lot of selling pressure, we're going to have to take a look at some liquidation data too and kind of get perspective on where we're at. But when it comes to coins like this and the way that they move, it is best to get out of the way as far as if you're considering a short trade. It doesn't make a ton of sense. You'll continue to hit your stop loss as you continue to try to get in. Unless, of course, you use low leverage, that may be a consideration. And maybe we're going to be able to see here that there is a possibility for entry. But generally speaking, I do not recommend shorting into this kind of momentum. It makes no sense at all. So take a look here at liquidation. Let's just quickly note here. And again, this last 7 days, we probably have to zoom in a little bit further to the 12-hour, but if you look here, you can see there's not a ton of liquidation left. Some people are shorting a little bit with stop losses and or liquidation at about 2,200 versus 2,400. Keep in mind, I'm just going to omit all the zeros and just kind of speak with round numbers here, so please recognize that. But at this point here, we can kind of see the obvious that most shorts are not really here. They're not non-existent. Now we zoom into the 12-hour, this will be a little bit more indicative of local shorts and highs, so we can see that a little bit clearer, where we can see what 2,200, 2,300, those are the two round numbers that have the heaviest concentration of liquidation. So the price continues higher, 22 to 23 is probably the place in which we'll see a pivot or a reversal, okay? Again, that's usually the best tool to utilize when it comes to prices running like this, because liquidation delta is outrageous. So if we take a look here, we're at 3.5 billion in long liquidation delta, telling us we have 3.5 billion dollars more in long liquidation than short liquidation. Basically meaning that there's not a lot of opposition in shorts, but also implying we have a lot of longs in the market. Big surprise, we already see that. If we take a look at open interest, we can recognize too here that people are heavy at 1,900, 1,700, and roughly 1,600. Those are just round numbers, but those are areas in which people are averaged in the most in the last 7 days, or more likely, more important, the last 12 hours. Okay, so again, interesting stuff the way this is moving. Let's take a look at the daily. Recognize macro is going to be super bullish. There's nothing to really see here. Everything is a check mark to leave your long position open. Just keep adjusting your stop loss higher if you have a leverage trade open. 4-hour time frame, we do have a fair value gap here. So in other words, where we consolidated here previously, we can see a pretty consistent breakout pattern here, basically a pretty much a bullish triangle, for lack of better terms, where the price action retested its high. So future reference, I know hindsight's 2020, easy to identify, but when you retest a certain level multiple times, it's more likely to break, okay? So granted, most coins typically do one of these and then continue to break out, like 10 attempts. This one took 5 attempts on the 4-hour and just didn't look back. The key takeaway here is that the price does pull back. We need to recognize that this $1,400 to $1,800 range, sorry, not $1,800 range, but $1,800, that range is effectively a fair value gap. So in other words, the price moved up so fast that that's an area of potential retracement. Okay, so the price does end up starting to pull back. That could be an area of retracement. We also want to draw this out too. I forgot to do this initially. We're going to draw our daily candlestick close, and we're also going to draw out our daily candlestick high. Okay. So those are the 2 points in which we saw the price action for Pepe get its highest point previously, both a closure and a wick. Okay, so that's relevant later, not for right now, but hypothetically, prices will generally retest their previous or local high. It's really common. This may not happen. Don't get me wrong; that's a pretty overextended price action, but it's still very much a probability. Take a look here at the RSIs. Everything on the 4-hour time frame is going to be fully bullish. Same thing here with the 4-hour time frame too. I don't see anything that's different. So nothing to really see there. Hourly time frame, Ichimoku Cloud is generally something I use for confirmation. And the easy way to understand it here is that everything is green light, good to go. So what am I telling you to take a long right now? Probably not. It just doesn't make a ton of sense to buy something that's this massively overextended. The reason why is because we're starting to see volume taper off as the price increases. That's generally an unfavorable sign for sustainability. Okay, so while the reason why we're seeing this is because there's no selling pressure at all, as soon as those liquidation levels are hit, i.e., what was that, was 22, 2,300, then we're more likely to see that pullback occur. So my money is on 2300 getting swept here at some point. That's this rough area, this estimate there, and that's kind of where we're at. So what I'll do is I'll post a playout chart. I'll clean up the charts here for you. Make sure you can kind of see what that will look like hypothetically, just highlighting the important levels. The key takeaway here is that the price will either come up here, sweep that liquidation and pull back, or it may pull back soon to pivot just to come up and sweep that later. Okay, both one of two scenarios will play out. Okay, it's just a matter of what happens between now and then. And also too, Bitcoin maintaining itself in its range is also important too, because you got to recognize Bitcoin broke free from 90,000 here recently, and Pepe also did something similar in suit, right? It's not because of it, but it has a lot to do with it. So that's kind of where we're at. I hope that makes sense. Let me also highlight something that's extremely important too. I get a question all the time, like, what exchange do you use? I live in the US, I live in Canada, I have, KYC requirements. Well, look no further, Bitunix, phenomenal exchange, no KYC or VPN required. 60K prize pool spread amongst the top 20 players this month here. If you missed out, no big deal. Next month we'll have a new competition, I'm sure. But at this point here, they're offering tremendous benefits to any new member coming over. So it's really cool stuff. So check that out. Link down below for them. They are a really great exchange. We use them exclusively as a community. And also check out our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. I post all my playout charts and everything is available there for you. Okay, so check it out in your own time. I appreciate you watching. Thanks again for liking the video and see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Take care.